Hello, today I'm going to talk about cadence patterns. So these are such a good thing to practice. You're going to learn chord inversions, good voice leading. I'm going to give you a series of exercises starting pretty easy and getting harder and harder. And I'm going to show some cool harmonic devices like Neapolitan chords, augmented sixth chords, diminished seventh chords. So happy practicing. All right, so the first one we're going to do is probably something you've seen before. Usually you do it in two hands, so something like this. I'm going to do it a little differently. You're going to do this in the left hand instead. Okay, and the right hand's going to be kind of like your vanilla version. Okay, and then you're going to want to practice in all inversions. So what do I mean by that? Instead of starting here, you're going to flip this C up here and do the same chord progression now starting with this. And we're going to want good voice leading. So voice leading is how the notes of a chord transition from one chord to the next. So you see here, these two notes are going to move up. And so it's very smooth voice leading. Okay, so the next one. We were here, now we're going to flip this E up. All right, so once you can do it in C, then practice it in all 12 keys. So I'll just do a couple here for you just as an example. So there was D flat. You could just go up chromatically. So that's your homework. Go practice those in all 12 keys. Okay, once you have that, the next progression I'm going to give you is the same thing, but in minor. So it's going to look like this. So if you got the major down, the minor's not that hard. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce a bunch of variations on that. And I like to do them on the minor because there's some fun things you can do. So the first one I'm going to give you is the Neapolitan chord. The Neapolitan is kind of like a weird 4 chord. So it's going to start in this inversion. This works best because we want to approach the Neapolitan in a specific way. So instead of going here to the 4 chord, we're going to actually raise this C to the D flat. So it's going to be like this. So you see this actually a lot more than you think. So Schubert, Liszt, Beethoven, like you see this a lot. So we like it here because we have parallel fifths this way. If you rotate it, you don't have that problem. You could go from this angle up here. You could go here. Or you could do that too. So there's a couple options for you. But the key is that you want to avoid this. Generally, right? All right, so that's the Neapolitan. The next one is a diminished chord. So I'm actually going to add an extra chord here between the 4 chord and the 5 chord. So the 4, and then we're going to go up chromatically in the bass line. So again, the left hand. We need to fill out a chord that does this. It's going to be this diminished 7th chord. So you could rotate it up and then leave the F sharp out because the left hand's playing it. Okay, and again as a reminder, practice these in all 12 keys. That'll be the most beneficial. Okay, so the next one is what I'm going to call like a deceptive version. So we're going to actually start on the 6th chord instead of the 1. So if we're in C minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 2, 1, 6, 4, 5, the 5, 1. So I call it deceptive because usually you could substitute a 1 chord for a 6 chord. So that kind of thing, right? So the 6 chord instead of the 1. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to give you is the augmented 6 chord. So it's again, it's kind of like a chromatic alteration of a 4 chord. So if we start here, right, this is a 4 chord in first inversion, 4 F minor, right? And then we're going to raise this top note here. So here's the augmented 6, the A flat to the F sharps, because an A to an F is a 6th, and then you make it wider, so it's going to be augmented. And so this has a very strong pull to resolve this way, outward. Okay, and you're gonna do that in all 12 keys. So let's do that in C sharp minor. So we're gonna want to start with the 4 chord. So the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're gonna play the first inversion. So we're here. We're gonna start here. So F sharp in first inversion, and we're gonna raise the top note. Then 1, 6, 4, 5 to 1, 6, 4 to 5 to 1. So again, in C sharp minor. Okay, let me run through one more key for you. Let's do D minor. Okay, so we're going to take the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to invert it. Okay, so there's the beginning. We're going to raise this note, and then it's going to resolve outward. So that's the kind of work that's going to get you better. It's hard work because you have to really think how these patterns work in all 12 keys. But I think it's well worth the effort because you see these patterns everywhere. Anyway, good luck and happy practicing.